All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a technology that is so powerful, it could either be the end of our financial system as we know it, or its rebirth. This is the quantum paradox. I mean, really, it all comes down to this one kind of staggering question. Is it possible for the same breakthrough to completely shatter the security we all rely on, while at the same time giving us the power to solve problems we've always thought were impossible? And you know what? The answer seems to be, yep, it can. And this lays it out perfectly. You've got these two sides of the quantum coin. On one side, it's a massive threat. I'm talking about the power to crack the encryption that protects everything: your bank account, my bank account, the entire global payment network. But on the other side, it's this incredible opportunity to unlock computational power for finance on a scale we've never seen before. Okay, so let's start with the scary part, the threat. What some are calling a potential systemic cryptographic shockwave. And look, this isn't some far-off science fiction fantasy. This is a very real danger, and it's on the horizon. So what is it that makes these quantum computers so powerful? Well, it all starts with something called a qubit. Now, your laptop, my phone, they use bits. A bit is simple. It's either a 0 or a 1. That's it. But a qubit can be a 0 and a 1 at the exact same time, thanks to this wild property called superposition. And that ability to exist in multiple states at once is what gives these machines their mind-boggling power. And here is the specific weapon that's aimed right at the heart of our financial system. It's called Shor's algorithm. You see, almost all of our digital security today relies on one simple idea. It is incredibly difficult for regular computers to find the prime factors of huge numbers. But for a quantum computer running Shor's algorithm, it's easy. The unbreakable suddenly becomes breakable. Now, this is the really critical part. This is why the threat isn't years away, it's already here. Bad actors are using a tactic called harvest now, decrypt later. What does that mean? It means they are stealing massive amounts of encrypted financial data right now, today. They're just stockpiling it, waiting for the day they get their hands on a quantum computer powerful enough to crack it all wide open. Every piece of encrypted data we have is basically a ticking time bomb. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The Bank for International Settlements, basically the central bank for all the world's central banks, is sounding the alarm. They're not talking about some little IT problem. They are talking about a shock to the entire system, one that could just pull the rug out from under the trust our whole global economy is built on. This timeline really puts it into perspective. We're staring at what they're calling a cryptographic cliff edge. In as little as 3 to 8 years, blockchain assets could be vulnerable. Within a decade, the very systems that move trillions of dollars a day, things like SWIFT, could be at risk. The clock is absolutely ticking. But remember, this is a paradox. So let's flip the coin. Let's look at the other side of this, which is this incredible opportunity. Because quantum isn't just a code breaker, it's a problem solver on a scale we can barely even imagine. See, quantum tech isn't just one single thing. In the world of finance, we're really looking at 3 key areas. You've got quantum computing, which is for those super fast calculations. Then you have quantum communication, which actually uses the laws of physics to create unhackable networks. And finally, quantum sensing, which can provide timing so precise it can completely change the game for high-speed trading. Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets really tangible. Think about Monte Carlo simulations. They're a huge deal for banks modeling risk. A process that right now might run all night on a massive supercomputer could be done in the time it takes you to grab a cup of coffee. That's a 100x speed up. Or optimizing a massive investment portfolio. A job that takes hours today could be over in seconds. This isn't just a little faster, it's a revolutionary leap. The engine driving all this speed comes from these specialized quantum algorithms. They use that unique qubit property, superposition, to basically look at millions of possible outcomes all at the same time. It's kind of like trying to solve a maze by exploring every single path simultaneously to find the exit instantly, instead of trying them one by one by one. I mean, that's the kind of power we are talking about unlocking. Okay, so we've got this huge threat, and we have this absolutely massive opportunity. The big question is, what do we do? How do we prepare? How do we build a financial system that's tough enough to take the hit, but also smart enough to grab the opportunity? Well, the good news is there's a pretty clear framework for this transition. It starts with assessing your situation. You got to know where all your vulnerabilities are. Next, you protect your systems, usually by using a mix of old and new encryption. Then you adapt your whole infrastructure to these new standards. And finally, you govern the process from the top down. It's a clear path from being vulnerable to being resilient. And here's the most important part. We already have the tools to defend ourselves. It's called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. This is basically a new breed of encryption. It's built on math problems that are hard for both regular computers and quantum computers to solve. This is the new shield for the quantum age. And you know what? There's a global policy roadmap already taking shape. We are in the awareness phase right now. The next few years, that's all about implementation and testing. And by the early 2030s, the goal is to have the whole financial system switched over to these new quantum safe standards. The transition isn't coming, it has already begun. But, and this is a big but, a transition like this can't happen in a silo. A technical fix is only as good as the global cooperation behind it. And this has very quickly become a geopolitical issue. And this is the great danger here. If some countries adopt one standard and other countries adopt another, or if they just move at totally different speeds, we could end up with a quantum divide. The global financial system, which needs to be seamless to work, could become completely fragmented. A lack of teamwork could turn this amazing innovation into a massive vulnerability. And make no mistake, the global race is on. The US is already telling its federal agencies they have to migrate. The EU is writing this stuff into its core regulations. China is a leader in building quantum communication networks. You've got Singapore, Japan, Brazil. Everybody is taking real, concrete steps. The only question is, are they all taking steps in the same direction? So what has to happen? Well, it boils down to three things. First, we need global standardization of all the technical stuff. Second, we need international supervision, making "Are you quantum ready?" a standard question for financial stability. And third, we need solidarity, making sure that emerging markets get the help and funding they need so that nobody gets left behind in this transition. In the end, it really comes down to this one choice. The technology is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So are we going to have the foresight to work together and build a more secure, more powerful financial system for everyone? Or is a lack of coordination going to leave us with a future that's fragmented, unequal, and just waiting to be broken? That's the question we all have to answer, and we have to answer it soon.